The Google Pixel 10 is already making headlines, and not just for the usual software upgrades or AI features. This time, it's all about the camera. According to recent reports, Hublot might finally add a telephoto lens to its base Pixel model for the very first time. That's a big shift, especially considering how the Pixel lineup has handled its camera setup over the years. Since the launch of the Pixel 6, Hublot has stuck with a solid dual camera system on its base models. That setup includes a main sensor for everyday shots and an ultrawide lens for capturing more of the scene. It's been a reliable combo, praised for its consistency, especially when paired with Google's legendary image processing. But now, with the Pixel 10, Hublot seems ready to push the boundaries and add more versatility to its camera system. Here's the twist though, adding a third camera, specifically a telephoto lens, may come with a few sacrifices. To make space for this new lens, Hublot might actually be shrinking the quality of the other two rear cameras. That's right. The base Pixel 10 could end up with smaller sensors on its main and ultra-wide lenses than the Pixel 9 had. So, what exactly are we looking at? If the reports are accurate, the Pixel 10's new telephoto camera will use an 11-megapixel Samsung 3J1 sensor, the same one found in the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. This sensor would finally allow optical zoom in the base Pixel model, improving detail and clarity when zooming in, and moving away from relying solely on digital cropping. That's a pretty big deal for anyone who likes shooting faraway subjects or capturing more portrait-style shots. But here's where things get tricky. In order to fit this third sensor, Google is rumored to be swapping out the current main camera, the 50-megapixel Samsung GMV, with a slightly smaller 50-megapixel Samsung GN8. And while the megapixel count remains the same, the actual sensor performance might take a hit. It's not always about the number of pixels. It's about how good the sensor is at capturing light, detail, and color accuracy. As for the ultra-wide camera, the downgrade seems more noticeable. The Pixel 9 had a 48-megapixel Sony IMX858 sensor for ultra-wide shots. On the Pixel 10, that could be replaced with a 13-megapixel Sony IMX712M. That's a significant drop in resolution, and while megapixels aren't everything, it's hard to ignore that kind of change on paper. Even the front camera might see a change. The Pixel 9 had a 13-megapixel Sony sensor, but the Pixel 10 could switch to the same 11-megapixel Samsung 3J1 used for the telephoto. Again, not a huge difference in numbers, but it raises questions about consistency and quality. So the big question is it worth it? Adding a telephoto lens to the base model is a bold move, and it certainly makes the Pixel 10 more appealing from a versatility standpoint. Samsung has included a telephoto lens on its base flagship phones. If Google follows suit, the Pixel 10 could become a much stronger contender in the flagship category, especially for users who want more camera versatility without jumping to the Pro models. In the end, the real test will be how the Pixel 10 performs in real-world usage. On paper, some might worry about downgrades, but if Google delivers its usual software magic, the Pixel 10 might just surprise us. A third camera at the cost of slightly different sensors? That might not be such a bad trade after all.